Hello, my fellow American. 'Tis I, the rumpled one. You know, the spin doctors are at it again. The old distraction. Watch what I'm doing over here, because I'm really doing something over here I don't want you to see. So pay attention over here. Smoke and mirrors again. Botched execution. Took them, what, 40 minutes to kill that guy? I mean, there's so many ways to look at it. It's just like, well, hey, you know, he killed somebody, maybe he deserved to suffer. Oh, but that's not humane. That's not the way it should be. Well, then, you know, why don't we just shoot him in the head? That only cost, what, 5 cents for 22. Or if you want to use a higher caliber, maybe 50 cents a round for 38 or 45. Or just hang them. You know, bam, snap the neck. But when you think about it, they spend, I don't know how many thousands of dollars on these executions. It's crazy. Why not just, you know, I think Dr. Kevorkian might be able to help him out here. But that's just, to me, once again, smoke and mirrors. More smoke and mirrors. Tony Dungy said he wouldn't have drafted that gay football player because he didn't want the media circus. Now they're labeling him a bigot. I mean, really, don't we have more important things to worry about than what goes on in sports as a country? I mean, sports are for entertainment, right? They're a distraction. They're literally so you can go out and enjoy yourself. But I mean, all the effort, all the reporters writing, can't they find something more important to write about? I mean, it should have just been a blur, but they just keep this thing going and going. Just another distraction. And there's more. Let's see, we got Israel, Gaza. I mean, when are we going to learn to keep our nose out of other people's business? Never. It's just the nature of some people. They always want to stick their nose in somebody else's business. I mean, I read somewhere they said, why don't they just let Israel win the war? Because they could just go in there and just wipe them out, and then they win. I mean, because in the olden days, that's what would happen. But now we talk about civilians and all. I mean, hey, if one country's at war with another, then it's a war. You know, expect your house to be a target. I mean, come on. Let's just be real here. It's a war. More distractions. Immigration. The border. But actually, that's not a distraction. That's a real problem. One that they won't solve. You know, they come up with something now, something humane act. I wonder how many people and how much are these people paid to sit around some table dreaming up, thinking up these acronyms or picking a word and then thinking, how can we use this? It's just ridiculous what our government officials are doing and not doing. And now there's some groups that want President Obama to sit down and with illegals at the table. He says, don't talk about us without us. I mean, it's catchy, but hey, if an illegal comes forward, they should be put in cuffs and hauled off, deported. They're here illegally. But, you know, that's just another political football that's getting kicked around. So, we got all these illegals crossing the border. And citizens that want to protect the border, they're arrested. It's all backwards. Meanwhile, we've got the illegals, we've got the drugs, we've got the illegals bringing up all kinds of diseases because they haven't been inoculated. I mean, it's just crazy. Not to mention, if we can't protect our border from these illegals, I mean, who knows what kind of terrorists are coming in. The real terrorists, not the made-up ones that the government goes after like preppers. Let's see, what else is on the list here? I had to make a list because there's just so much stuff going on here. And the thing about the immigration is I realized, I watched a History Channel documentary on the Depression. And you see, back then, the immigrants who came to America came for one thing. Basically, opportunity. The freedom to do what they wanted to do for their life, you know, their liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That's why they came here. They weren't here for a handout. They weren't here to sign up for food stamps or Section 8 housing or free medical, free dental, free Obama phones. They weren't here for any of that free stuff. The people that came to America came here because all they just wanted was that opportunity. They wanted to say, hey, you know, give me a chance so I can work as hard as I can, make something of myself. But now, we've got a society and a system that encourages people here to come here and do nothing, not contribute. I mean, back then, you come to America, you learn to speak English. You learn about the history and how the government works. In fact, most of the immigrants who became citizens knew more about how the government worked and our laws than the people who were born here. Because that was the school's failure, but that's a whole nother topic. But now, we'll just take just about anybody. And we're making excuses why we can't control the border. It's just ridiculous. You know it, I know it. Let's see, is there anything else here? I mean, I know I haven't done one of these videos in a while because it just seems like there's just a never ending, and it's like you probably hear it enough anyway, you don't need to hear it from me, but every now and then I just have to bring some things to light. Well, I think I may have covered them all for now. But the bottom line is that we have elected leaders who have perverted our Constitution. Oh, wait a minute, before I get into that, there is another one. A good buddy of mine served this country. He was at a fort. Come to find out, where he was a toxic dumping ground for Agent Orange. And he had different symptoms that the doctors couldn't figure out. Well, now they know why. And I'm encouraging him to get 60 Minutes involved. Because this is a story, once again, how our government, our elected leaders, are treating our soldiers in uniform and those who have served, our veterans. It is just despicable. And these people should be dealt with severely. But the problem is that, once again, we've elected leaders who do this. But the thing is this isn't something new. Once again, I was watching that Depression documentary. Great Depression, 1928. Well, some years afterwards, or while as the Depression was going, there was something called the Bonus War, the Bonus Army, where a bunch of veterans marched on the Capitol. And then MacArthur took soldiers in uniform and actually rousted these guys. And a lot of this stuff I didn't know until I saw this documentary. But what's really insidious about this is if you go on the internet and you do some research, the research doesn't all line up. Depending on who you read, this guy did this. If you read over here, no he didn't, somebody else did it. So you have this, you wonder, is that what I saw on the documentary, is that the truth, or is what I read the truth? You don't know. See, that's why Orwell said, you know, he who controls the present controls the past. And he who controls the past controls the future. Because, once again, these elected leaders, past and present, are tyrants. They don't care about us. They don't care about the Constitution. They're in it for themselves, to make as much as they can, to have as much power, to do what they want to do. They're no longer public servants. They're public tyrants. And my fellow Americans, it is time to wake up and smell the tyranny.